very special show for you today. Oh, before we start, if you all look under your chairs, we have a special case of Vaseline for you all. Woohoo! Yeah! Okay, now today, as you all know, these past few weeks, I've been enjoying reading The Reader by Bernhard Schlink, and and guess what? Today we have him here today. He's gonna answer a few questions. We're gonna get to know him and each other and just have a great time for you. Now let's introduce Bernhard Schlink. Woo!
Hey, thank you everyone.
Okay, Bernhard, how are you today?
I'm fabulous, thank you.
That's good to know. Have you on this show.
Thank you.
As you know, I've been reading your book actually these past few weeks, and I've been talking about it, and I just think it's a really good book. Very educational. It taught me a lot. There's a lot of things a lot of underlining things that I didn't know were in your book. You know, it's like on the surface thing, and then when you read
I suppose
more,
you have some questions for me too.
I do actually have some questions for you.
And I'm really excited to get to share my wisdom, but also my reasoning behind some of the stuff that I wrote, and I'm just really on my toes to share with you.
Yes.
On my toes.
Okay, now my first question, I've been dying to know this. Do you think Michael is capable of ever letting go of the impact his relationship with Hannah had on him? It's strange, in fact, certainly our first loves stay with us somehow, no matter how they might have hurt us or who they turned out to be. Could the same be said of Michael?
That's a very interesting question because I get that question all the time, and my answers just vary every time that I get the question. And I just have to say that a first love, it's just, you never can let go of it.
Yeah.
And in a love situation, it's really powerful, you know, it clings to you. With Hannah's age and her experience with other guys, and her two personalities that she fights, her soft part of her and like her cruel part of her, it's just, it made her into a very complex woman, and I don't really think that a 15-year-old, you know, can link with that as much as a person his actual age.
I totally understand that.
So in the second part of the book especially, and when he met her in the courtroom, you realize that the experience will stay with him the rest of his life.
Yes.
Because, and even on towards the end of the book, he helps her he wants her to get out of prison and start a new life and everything. Like, she has stayed in his mind through other relationships, and that's why he divorced, because he just couldn't find that right fit with Gertrude.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Speaking of which, as you just mentioned, you know, how Michael, you know, stayed with Hannah, like his love for her stayed over time, and like even when he was in his 40s and when he was grown up, that makes me think about guilt. Now, the guilt felt by all the characters for their own varying reasons is incredibly palatable.
That's a very interesting choice of words.
Yeah. In the case of Michael, it is certainly felt that as a young adult, he was attempting to shoulder the guilt for both his actions and Hannah's. Was it your intention in his actions as a grown man for him to exercise some of that guilt?
You know, guilt is like a big theme in this book, as you know. And especially for Michael being the main character, it just, guilt is just, it's just.
I agree with that.
So basically, how I would like to answer this is that the guilt that Michael Berg feels is the guilt of keeping the secrets of those who committed the crimes of the Holocaust. Because, I mean, certainly he loves Hannah and feels some solidarity towards her. And he never fully stops loving her, though later he reduces communication drastically. So, you know, that time period when he didn't want to communicate with her, but he wanted to do the divorce recordings.
Yes.
That time period. He still wanted that contact with her, but not face to face.
Right.
See?
Right.
But she still plays a role in his life, maybe not directly, but indirectly. And he wants her to play that role.
Right.
So, you know.
Yes. Okay, Michael.
Was that an answer to your question? Because I feel like you are really satisfied with my answer that...
You know, it was a good... I was just really curious because, you know, the guilt, it kind of overtakes Hannah too, you can say, right? Because when, you know, and with the court and the mother-daughter situation, when she realizes what she has, when she finally realizes what she has done, what she had done was incredibly wrong, that's when she decides to, you know, off herself. You know, I feel like that was like the overarching just reason for her guilt, just like working with the SS. Yeah.
You're right.
So I just think that's really interesting. Michael, the last question that I have for you, actually, this is a fan question from someone in Minnesota. They ask, a light seems to turn on for Michael during the trial regarding who Hannah truly might be beyond just discovering that she's illiterate. Was it your intention that the reader would see her differently as well?
That's a very interesting question, but it has a very concrete answer, which is just yes.
Yeah.
When Michael realizes that what she's done and sees beyond the cruelty that showed up in some moments earlier, he sees there is some much deeper and bigger cruelty that is part of her personality. So I guess it goes along to say you never really truly know someone like you think they do. I guess that's just one of the themes that people really don't catch in this book, and people that they don't put in their presentations for the English classes, is that what I just said, that you don't really know someone fully like you think you do, and there's a lot of mystery to people's lives that you don't often realize, and I think this book does a really good job, pat myself on the back real quick, a really good job of just expressing that. Do you have any other questions about themes or?
Honestly, Michael, no.
You don't? Do you?
Is there anything you would like to tell me that maybe I didn't catch in the book? I'm just really glad you decided to read this. Yes.
And
actually, yeah.
I'm really glad that we shared my insight.
Your insight.
With the rest of the world, all these 23 million viewers, whatever.
Yes. It was great to have you on this show.
Also, like I was saying, guilt and shame that you have for yourself, and your pride especially, that really drives you to make a lot of decisions that we make, especially in a world like today. You don't want people to know you're a deep, biggest part of yourself that you're ashamed of.
Very true.
So you walk around it and take maybe a zigzag road instead of a straight road.
That's very true.
But then also in return, when we're placed in situations where we have to go back from where we've been persecuted, or not persecuted, but discriminated against because maybe we made decisions that we aren't proud of, we tend to take that easy road, and which in the book is Hannah killing herself. And I just thought that a lot of people would find that interesting.
Yeah, I certainly did. You know, when she killed herself, that was it just happened.
A lot of people didn't expect it, and it was just to make a statement. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for being here.
I have a 411 call.
411 call. Wow. 411. Okay.
Well, thank you, America. Thank you, America.
So Bernard is off. We would just like to thank Bernard and his team for being on the Oprah Winfrey Show today. He certainly has been selling his copies of the Reader for years now. And actually, if you all look under your chairs, you will see a copy of the Reader all under your chairs. And yes, I think that is all for the Oprah Winfrey Show today. And I will see you all next week. Bye!